Fear. It's the invisible force that holds you back. The whisper in your ear telling you to stay small, to play it safe. But what if I told you that fear is nothing more than a paper tiger? A toothless beast that only has power because you give it power. Look around this room. But every single one of you has felt fear's icy grip. You've hesitated. You've doubted yourself. You've let opportunities slip through your fingers. Why? Because you were afraid. But here's the truth. Fear is a liar. It's a con artist that's been selling you a bill of goods your entire life. And today, we're going to expose that lie for what it is. Think back to a time when fear stopped you dead in your tracks. Maybe it was asking you that promotion, starting that business, or telling someone how you really felt. How did it feel? Like a weight on your chest. Like you couldn't breathe, couldn't move, couldn't think straight? Now, imagine what your life would be like if you could act as if you fear nothing. Imagine the possibilities that would open up, the heights you could reach, the impact you could make. That's not just a pipe dream. It's a reality that's within your grasp. And I'm here to show you how to seize it. You see, owlsness isn't about the absence of fear. It's about action in the face of fear. It's about looking fear in the eye and saying, not today, pal. I've got work to do. Throughout history, the men and women who changed the world weren't fearless. They were ordinary people who chose to act despite their fears. They understood a fundamental truth. That on the other side of fear lies greatness. Take the Wright brothers. Dame, two bicycle mechanics from Ohio who dared to dream of human flight. Can you imagine the fear they must have felt strapping themselves to a contraption of wood and canvas, preparing to defy gravity? But they didn't let that fear stop them. They acted as if they feared nothing. And in doing so, they changed the course of human history. Or consider Rosa Parks, who, with a single act of defiance, ignited the civil rights movement. Do you think she wasn't afraid when she refused to give up her seat? Of course she was. But she acted anyway because she understood that her cause was greater than her fear. These weren't superhumans. They were people just like you and me. The only difference, they refused to let fear dictate their actions. Now, I can already hear some of you thinking, that's all well and good, but I'm not trying to invent flight or start a social movement. I just want to succeed in my career, provide for my family, maybe start a business. And to that I say, fear doesn't discriminate. Whether you're trying to change the world or just change your life, fear will always be there, whispering doubts, urging caution. But here's the kicker. The size of your success is directly proportional to the size of your fears. The bigger your dreams, the bigger your fears. And that's a good thing. Because when you learn to act as if you fear nothing, those big fears become stepping stones to big successes. Let me tell you about a guy I know. We'll call him Jack. Jack was a middle manager at a decent company. Comfortable job, decent pay, but he had a dream of starting his own business. Every night, he'd come home and work on his business plan. But every morning, he'd wake up and go right back to that comfortable job. Why fear? Fear of failure, fear of the unknown, fear of what others might think. Sound familiar? This went on for years. Until one day, Jack's company announced layoffs. And guess who was on the chopping block? That's right, our boy Jack. Now, most people would see this as a disaster, but not Jack. You know what he did? He acted as if he feared nothing. He took his severance package and poured it into his business idea. Was he scared? You bet your ass he was. But he acted anyway. Fast forward 5 years. Jack's company is now a multi-million-dollar enterprise, employing hundreds of people, all because he chose to act as if he feared nothing. That is a real kicker. Jack told me later that getting laid off was the best thing that ever happened to him because it forced him to confront his fears head on. It made him realize that the thing he feared most, failure, wasn't nearly as scary as a life of regret. That's the power of acting, as if you fear nothing. It's not just about achieving success. It's about living life on your own terms. It's about looking back on your life and knowing that you didn't let fear hold you back. Now, I'm not saying it's easy. Acting is, if you're nothing is, one of the hardest things you'll ever do. But it's also the most rewarding. Because here's the truth. Fear is the tax you pay on your dreams. The bigger your dreams, the bigger the tax. But unlike actual taxes, you have a choice in whether or not to pay this one. You can choose to let fear hold you back, to keep you small, to keep you safe, or you can choose to act as if you fear nothing, to push through the discomfort, to reach for greatness. And make no mistake, it is a choice. Every single day, you have the power to choose fearlessness, to look fear in the eye and say, not today. But it's not enough to make that choice once. You have to make it again and again, day after day. You have to make it when you're tired, when you're discouraged, when everything seems to be going wrong. That's where mental toughness comes in. Mental toughness is like a muscle. The more you use it, the stronger it gets, and the stronger it gets, the easier it becomes to act as if you fear nothing. So how do you build mental toughness? By doing the things that scare you, by pushing yourself out of your comfort zone, by facing your fears head on. Start small if you have to. Are you afraid of public speaking? Join a Toastmasters club. Afraid of rejection. Make it a point to ask for something every day, even if it's just asking for a discount at a store. The key is consistency. Don't wait for big moments to be fearless. Practice fearlessness in the small moments of your day-to-day life, because it's in those small moments that you build the mental toughness to handle the big moments. And here's the beautiful thing. As you build your mental toughness, as you practice acting as if you fear nothing, something amazing happens. Your comfort zone starts to expand. Things that used to terrify you become routine. And you start to realize that you're capable of so much more than you ever thought possible. But let's be clear. Acting as if you fear nothing doesn't mean being reckless. It doesn't mean ignoring real dangers or taking unnecessary risks. It means having the courage to pursue your goals despite the presence of fear. It means understanding that failure isn't the opposite of success. It's part of success. Every successful person you admire has failed probably more times than you can count. But they kept going. They acted as if they feared nothing, even in the face of failure. Think about it. How many times did Thomas Edison fail before he successfully created the light bulb? Over 1,000. But when asked about it, he famously said, "I have not failed. I've just found 10,000 ways that won't work." That's the mindset of someone who acts as if they fear nothing. They don't see failure as a reason to quit. They see it as valuable feedback, as a stepping stone to success. Now, I can already hear some of you thinking, that's all well and good, but what about the consequences of failure? What about the risk? And you're right to think about those things. Acting as if you fear nothing doesn't mean ignoring reality. It means facing reality head on, understanding the risks, and moving forward anyway, because the potential rewards outweigh those risks. It's about asking yourself, what's the worst that could happen? And then asking, can I handle that? More often than not, you'll find that you can, and even if the worst does happen, you'll survive. You'll learn. You'll grow stronger. Because here's the trump. The things we fear most rarely come to pass. And even when they do, they're rarely as bad as we imagine. But the regret of not trying, that's real. That's lasting. That's the kind of thing that keeps you up at night, wondering what if. Power school. What's holding you back? What dream have you been putting off because of fear? What goal have you been too afraid to pursue? Whatever it is, I want you to make a commitment right here, right now. Commit to taking one step toward that dream or that goal. Just one step. Act as if you fear nothing, even if it's just for a moment. Because here's the secret. Courage is in the absence of fear. Courage is action in the face of fear. And every time you act courageously, you chip away at fear's power over you. Remember, fear is like a muscle. The more you feed it, the stronger it gets. But the reverse is also true. The more you starve it, the weaker it becomes. So starve your fears. Feed your courage. Act as if you fear nothing. And watch as your world expands as opportunities you never imagined open up before you. Because when you act as if you fear nothing, you become unstoppable. You become the kind of person who doesn't just dream big, but who turns those dreams into reality. You become the kind of person who inspires others, who leads by example, who leaves a lasting impact on the world. And isn't that what we're all here for? To make the most of this one precious life we've been given, to reach our full potential, to make a difference. So I'll challenge you. From this moment forward, to act as if you fear nothing. Take that first step, no matter how small. and then take another. Because on the other side of fear lies everything you ever wanted. Your dreams, your goals, your best life. It's all waiting for you. All you have to do is act as if you fear nothing and go get it. Now that we've established the power of fearlessness, it's time you down to brass tacks. How do you actually cultivate a fearless mindset? Because let's face it, knowing you should act fearlessly is one thing. Actually doing it, that's a whole different ballgame. But here's the truth. A fearless mindset isn't something you're born with. It's something you build day by day, decision by decision. It's a skill, and like any skill, it can be learned, practiced, and mastered. The first step in cultivating a fearless mindset is identifying your fears. You can't conquer what you can't name. So I want you to take a moment right now and think about what scares you, what's holding you back. What's that voice in your head telling you that you can't do? Got it. Good see. Now, I want you to realize something. That fear, whatever it is, it's not real. It's a story you're telling yourself. And if you can tell yourself a story that limits you, you can damn well tell yourself a story that empowers you. Here's an exercise. I want you to try. Take that fear you just identified and ask yourselves, what's the absolute worst that could happen if this fear came true? And then ask yourself, could I handle that? Could I survive it? Could I learn from it and come back stronger? I'll bet you anything the answer is yes. Because here's the thing. You're stronger than you think. You're more resilient than you know. You've already survived 100 of your worst days, and you'll survive whatever comes next. But cultivating a fearless mindset isn't just about confronting your fears. It's about developing mental toughness. It's about building the kind of resilience that lets you bounce back from setbacks, that lets you keep going when everything in you wants to quit. Mental toughness is like a muscle. The more you use it, the stronger it gets. And the best way to build mental toughness, do hard things. Do things that scare you. Do things that push you out of your comfort zone. Every time you do something that scares you, you're telling your brain, hey, I can handle this. This isn't so bad. And over time, your comfort zone expands. Things that used to terrify you become routine. And you start to realize that you're capable of so much more than you ever thought possible. But here's the catch. You can't just do this once or twice and expect to develop a fearless mindset. You need to make it a habit. You need to challenge yourself every single day. Start small if you have to. And afraid of public speaking, make it a point to speak up in meetings. Afraid of rejection. Ask for something every day, even if it's just asking for a discount at a store. Afraid of failure. Set a goal and pursue it relentlessly, even if you're not sure you can achieve it. The key is consistency. Don't wait for big moments. Be fearless. Practice fearlessness in the small moments of your day-to-day life, because it's in those small moments that you build the mental toughness to handle the big moments. Now, I can already hear some of you thinking, what if I fail? What if I make a fool of myself? What if people laugh at me? And to that I say, so what? Failure isn't fatal. Embarrassment won't kill you. And the opinions of others, they don't pay your bills. They don't live your lives. So why should they dictate your actions? If you're not failing, you're not trying hard enough. If you're not making mistakes, you're not pushing yourself far enough. Failure isn't the opposite of success. It's part of success. It's how you learn. It's how you grow. It's how you get better. Think about a baby learning to walk. That kid's going to fall down hundreds of times before they take their first steps. But do they give up? Hell no. They keep trying, keep falling, keep going. And eventually they walk. Then they run. Then they leave. That's the mindset you need to cultivate. The mindset that sees failure not as an end, but as a beginning. The mindset that sees mistakes not as proof of inadequacy, but as opportunities for growth. But cultivating a fearless mindset isn't just about how you handle failure. It's also about how you approach success. Because here's something they don't tell you. Success can be just as scary as failure. Why? Because success brings change. It brings new challenges, new responsibilities, new expectations. And that can be terrifying. It can make you want to play it safe, to stick with what you know. But a fearless mindset doesn't allow that. A fearless mindset pushes you to keep growing, keep challenging yourself, keep reaching for more, because it understands that comfort is the enemy of growth. So how do you cultivate this kind of fearless mindset? It starts with your self-talk. If you're constantly telling yourself that you're not good enough, that you can't do it, that you're going to fail, guess what? You're probably right. Your mind is incredibly powerful. It will find a way to make your beliefs a reality. But the flip side is also true. If you tell yourself that you're capable, that you can handle whatever comes your way, that failure is just a stepping stone to success. Your mind will find a way to make that true too. So start paying attention to your self-talk. When you catch yourself thinking limiting thoughts, challenge them. Replace them with empowering ones. Instead of, I can't do this, try, I'm learning to do this. Instead of, this is too hard, God, this is challenging, but I'm up for it. It might feel fake at first. You might not believe it. But here's the thing, act as if you believe it, and eventually you will. Your actions shape your beliefs just as much as your beliefs shape your actions. Another crucial aspect of cultivating a fearless mindset is preparation. Knowledge is power, and the more you know, the less you fear. So whatever it is you're afraid of, learn everything you can about it. Are you afraid of public speaking? Study great speakers. Learn about body language, vocal techniques, speech structure, practice in front of a mirror, then in front of friends, then in small groups. The more you prepare, the more confident you'll feel, and the less power fear will have over you. This applies to any fear and any challenge. The more you know, the more prepared you are, the more confident you'll feel. And confidence is kryptonite to fear. But here's the thing. No matter how much you prepare, there will always be unknowns. There will always be variables you can't control. And that's where trust comes in. Trust in yourself. Trust in your ability to handle whatever comes your way. Because here's the truth. Bam. You've already handled every challenge life has thrown at you so far. You've survived every bad day, every setback, every failure. You're still here. You're still fighting. And that means you're stronger than you think. So trust in that strength. Trust in your resilience. Trust in your ability to learn, to adapt, to overcome. Because when you trust yourself, fear loses its power over you. Now, let's talk about another crucial aspect of cultivating a fearless mindset. Your environment. You've heard the saying, you're the average of the 5 people you spend the most time with. Well, it's true. Your environment shapes you. The people around you influence your thoughts, your beliefs, your actions. So take a hard look at your environment. Are you surrounded by fearful people, by negative people who always focus on what could go wrong, by people who shoot down your dreams and tell you to play it safe? If so, it's time for a change. Seek out fearless people. Find mentors who have achieved what you want to achieve. Surround yourself with positive, ambitious people who believe in you and push you to be your best. This doesn't mean you have to cut people out of your life, but it does mean being intentional about who you spend your time with and whose opinions you give weight to. Remember, and resistance is contagious. When you see others acting fearlessly, taking risks, pursuing their dreams, it inspires you to do the same. It shows you what's possible. It expands your idea of what you're capable of. But don't just seek out successful people. Seek out people who've failed and bounced back, because they're the ones who can teach you about resilience. They're the ones who can show you that failure isn't the end of the world. That you can fall down 7 times and up 8. Now, I want to address something important. Cultivating a fearless mindset doesn't mean you'll never feel fear again. Fear is a natural human emotion. It's hardwired into our brains. And in some situations, it's actually useful. It can keep us safe from real dangers. The goal isn't to eliminate fear. The goal is to develop the ability to act. Despite fear, to feel the fear and do it anyway. To understand that fear is just an emotion, not a command. You can feel fear without being controlled by it. This is where mental toughness comes in. Mental toughness is the ability to maintain focus and determination in the face of adversity. It's what allows you to keep going when everything in you wants to quit. And here's the beautiful thing about mental toughness. It's not a fixed trait. It's a skill that can be developed. Every time you face a fear, every time you push through discomfort, every time you keep going when you want to quit, you're building mental toughness. It's like working out. The first time you hit the gym, it's hard. Everything hurts. You want to quit. In theater, if you keep at it day after day, it gets easier. You get stronger. You can lift heavier weights, run longer distances. Mental toughness works the same way. The more you practice it, the stronger it gets. And the stronger your mental toughness, the more fearless you become. But here's the king. You have to push yourself. You have to get comfortable with being uncomfortable. Because growth happens at the edge of your comfort zone, not in the middle of it. They're still restless, set big goals. Dream big dreams, and then take massive action towards them. Don't wait until you feel ready. You'll be waiting forever. Act now with whatever resources you have, wherever you are. Will it be scary? Absolutely. Will you feel unprepared? Probably. Will you make mistakes? Almost certainly. But that's okay. That's part of the process. That's how you learn, how you grow, how you develop that fearless mindset. Then remember, every successful person you admire started where you are now. They weren't born fearless. They weren't born successful. They became that way through consistent action, through pushing past their fears, through developing mental toughness. And if they can do it, so can you. You have the same hours in the day, the same potential for greatness. The only difference is the choices you make and the actions you take. So choose fearlessness. Wow. Choose growth. Choose to push past your comfort zone. Choose to act despite your fears, because on the other side of fear is everything you've ever wanted. It won't be easy. There will be days when you want to quit, when the fear seems too big, when the challenge seems too hard. But those are the days that define you. Those are the days when you have the opportunity to prove to yourself what you're really made of. And here's the thing. Every time you choose fearlessness, every time you push past your comfort zone, you're rewiring your brain. You're creating new neural pathways. You're literally changing the structure of your brain to make fearlessness your default state.